Okay, here we go again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We've got another Love Team Time trial for you, and this time it's a very exciting 13 race head-to-head showdown. Now we've got some new teams taking part today, 14 teams to report times on, but the 13 you're going to see in today's race is what we've got coverage of. Now I don't know the results of these races, so this is all new to me. I've been told it's very exciting, and here we are. We've got a few new teams, so we'll cover them as we get through. I see NZ Bro 2 make. I hope I'm pronouncing that. Sibwa are back, obviously. Cheese Rollers. Yeah, it's looking exciting, folks. 21.6 kilometer route today, so it's going to be fast, it's going to be furious. There's that spike in the middle, as you can see, and that should sort a few riders out. Hopefully the team time trialists will stay together. More about that as I give you commentary. I'll explain why that's important, but you can see it's a beautiful course that we've created here in Bora Bora. We're into week 5 of the 8-week series, so competition is really hotting up. At the top of the lead, we've got No Pins Race for R, but they're every week being closed down by Pokemotion. So we'll see what happens today. Nice to see the jerseys worn here, but yeah, Sibwa CCS are back. Nice to see them back again. OTR Black. Come on guys, you should be wearing the same jerseys, but OTR Black are back. 3R True 2. Now they're going to give OTR Black a run for the money. We know that because they were very close last week. No idea who this team is, the Cheese Rollers. I'm not going to go with the NZ Blue. I'm going to go with the Cheese Rollers. It's easier to pronounce. OTR Blue. This is a new team for me. I haven't seen these guys before. Well, I've seen the riders before, but I certainly haven't seen the team before. So we've got Mysterio, we've got Viper, and we're underway, folks. This is going to be a blast. I think we're into for some very, very tight and very exciting racing here. So, as I say, we're underway. First up, we've got No Pins Race 3R. Let's have a look at the riders. We've got Vanner, in fact both Vanners we've got Matt Looker, Steve Brearley, Watts, Wilkinson, Tom Wilkinson. Yeah, we've got a full complement of 6 riders. and they're all about, I would say they're all capable of staying together, hopefully anyway. Although they've dropped one of the riders already off the back, Mr. Wilkinson, but he will very quickly get back on. He's one of the stronger riders. Here we're looking at Poker Motion. Now this group, we're down to 4 riders today, so that's going to be a disadvantage. I wonder whether the 4 riders of Poker Motion will be able to give No Pins a race today. I mean, obviously they'll give them a race, but I wonder how close it's going to be, because the more riders you have, the more recovery each rider can get. And that's very important as we come into the second half of the race. You know, how much recovery the team has had. Anyway, we're looking at Cibois now, and they've got the full complement, and they've got a good team out today, I can see. So they've got Turcotte back, they've got Roy, Dufour, Nas, Moni, and Ratte. So yeah, expect good things from this team as well today. They've been climbing the rankings, doing very well. We know all about OTR Black with James Ogilvie back in the team. Nice to see him back. But this is another strong team. So and thankfully they've got a full complement as well. Wearing different jerseys, but I'm not going to go into that at the moment because we've got people supporting the Ukraine thing that's going on. I'm not into the politics, and neither are any of the teams. It's just some teams are like to show their support, like 3R22, team very close to my heart that everybody will know about, because many of these members that you see riding on the road here, including Graham and Jonathan Geddes, Graham Saunders, Jonathan Geddes, these were members that helped me set up the True 2 riding on Swift. So this team is very, very close to my heart, as I mention almost every week. Cheese Rollers, I don't know this team, but I do know the riders. We've got Wendy Wonder Wheels here. She's a very, very strong female rider. We've got Lytton, Gallagher, Reese and Francis and Oliver. So we've got a full team here as well, a full team of 6. Hopefully they're looking very, very polished. They're looking very close together. So hopefully they put in the practice and they will stay close together. That's important, folks, because like I explained, the more you can stay together, the more recovery, the more through and off you can do, the more recovery each individual rider can get. And that becomes crucially important when you're getting into the final few kilometers, because obviously your stronger riders will have saved as much as they can, and they'll be able to take the 3 riders which is needed to the finish, because only 3 of the 6 riders need to finish over the line. The time is given on the 3rd rider. So it becomes pretty exciting as we go into it. Now we're seeing a split here, and this is not really what this team should be doing. This is bad tactics, folks, and the reason it's bad tactics is because of the recovery I mentioned. You know, these 3 riders, they may well be the 3 strongest riders, but they need recovery too, and they should be allowing some of the less stronger riders to do all the work on the front, purely and simply so that they can recover. I mean, Gallagher looks by far and away like she's pushing the pace up here, but is she breaking the rest of the team? I don't know. I don't know the tactics here, but to me, I think they'd be better served swapping through and off, as you're going to see OTR Blue do. Now, OTR Blue, like I say, new team to be, but not new riders. I know almost all these riders: Austin, Dude, Macca, Jackson, Walker and Barclay. So a full complement of 6 riders, very experienced riders. They will certainly, you know, this is an OTR team, and they will certainly know what's what, and I suspect they will get the tactics right, as you can see here. Perfect riding formation, you know, through and off, stronger rider on the front initially, but they will be swapping places. Paul Austin is a beast, so they will be swapping places and they will be recovering. Obviously, to Meek here, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, folks. I really don't know how to pronounce it, so we'll go with To Meek. And again, I know a lot of these riders, I've seen them in other competitions. but they're a new team to me and a new team to the competition. Now Norton running off the front here, he's got 2 bike lengths on his comrades. He needs to let them get on his wheel. You know, we've covered this so many times now. It's ultra important, folks. Team time trialing is not about how strong you are, it's about drafting. Because you can be the strongest team, but if you're not pulling all your team members along, or at least the majority of them, and certainly the 3 needed near the end, if you're distancing them, then you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not getting the best out of your team. Now this is another new team. I didn't see these on the chart initially, TFC. So nice to see TFC in the lovely yellow and black jerseys. These are a 5-man team, as you can see, with Todd, Dykes, Chartrand, Snyder and Deadpool. Again, I've seen many of these riders riding on RGT, well, a few of them anyway. They're looking good. To say this is their first race, they're looking reasonably good here. All 5 of them together. Hopefully they'll be swapping through and off. They don't want to be letting one man do the majority of the work. And OTR Green, well, yeah, these lads really know what's going with Byham and Bennett and Ady and Murray's, both Murray's actually. So again, a 6-man team. They know the score, and you can see that from the way they're riding. Look at the Gibolt on the front here. But the way they're riding, you can see that they're in formation. They'll be swapping leads. Yeah, it's good to see. Now obviously as we come into the second half of the race, you may well see some of these teams splitting from the 6 riders, but the more astute teams will try and stay together. Now West London VR, they've had a few problems over the weeks with technicals and this. They do tend to have had a lot of bad luck, I have to say, over this last couple of weeks. But now they've got a 5-man team out, although it looks like Fawn has been dropped. Now that's possibly a technical. He's 825 meters behind. Now that's very, very unlikely, folks, that he's going to get back on to these 4 riders. That kind of distance, it's coming down slowly, but that kind of distance would take a really incredible effort, and I don't see Fawn coming back to these 4 riders. They're a top team. I'm surprised that it's nice to see them putting out a 5-man team this week. In previous weeks we've seen them with less members, so it's nice to see they've got a 5-man team, but it's really sad to see that Stu Fawn has been dropped off. Let's keep an eye on him, but I doubt that he's going to get back. And here's Mysterio. Now Mysterio are another team that are really struggling. If any riders out there would like to message this team setup and offer their help, because this poor team are generally only the 3 riders taking part each week, so that puts them at a distinct disadvantage. You know, if you've only got 3 riders, you're not getting as much recovery as a team of 6, and you're going to pay for that. You're not going to be able to compete with the, you know, it doesn't matter how strong your 3 riders are, you're not going to be able to compete at the same level as other teams. You may well go faster, but when I say compete, I'm talking about, you know, riders taking recovery during the race. And that in team trialing is what it's all about. Viper are another team that always seem to be struggling as well. I mean, they've got the 3 Scots this week, and they've recruited Vicente. So they've got 4 riders. I can only see 3 on screen at the moment. I don't know what's happened to the 4th. Mason. Now Mason's dropped off again, and Mason's been dropping recently off the back of this team. So I suspect they've recruited him, but he's not able to keep the pace of these other riders. I could be doing Mason a disservice there, but I don't think I am. I think I'm correct in saying that it's not technicals Mason's having, it's just he's not strong enough to stay with this group. But really, this is another team, folks. If there's anybody out there who'd like to help them out, fire them off a message and offer your help. You know, if you're a rider that's looking for a team, Mysterio and Viper definitely need more riders, and it would really add to the excitement. Okay, we've got the splits on screen at the moment now, so you can see No Pins are currently leading only by 100 meters, but there's nothing in the top three. In fact, Ciboire CCS look to be leading. Wow, that is a surprise. Now we know this team, and this is, I think, the first time I've seen Ciboire with a really strong six-man team. Previously, I think they've been a man short. So Ciboire are really putting in a ride here. What a ride. And that Ratte is definitely doing his fair share of the work as well. He's a relatively new. They've got Roy in here as well. So they are really giving No Pins a run for the money here. Could we see a swap around in the winners almost every week have been No Pins? But Ciboire are almost certainly that. Well, they certainly got the lead at the moment. But don't count out No Pins. They use Discord. They talk to each other during the ride. They measure their effort, and they're a very professional team. But I'm super impressed with Dubois and his team here, Ciboire. Pokemotion, they're definitely not out of it. And this is a team, sadly only 4 members today, so I genuinely think that's going to cost them a few seconds. OTR Black, well, thankfully they've got a full complement. One rider running off the back at the moment, but he's going to come back. So they're going to stay together, and they're looking really good. Working well together, riding well. So yeah, OTR Black are really looking the part. But just look at this, folks. Ciboire taking the lead at the moment. No Pins have pulled it back actually. So this, Ciboire just in front. Probably less than 100 meters between them. In fact, I'd say a cigarette paper difference between the two of them. What a race. This is fantastic. And Pokemotion and OTR Black are neck and neck as well. I think Pokemotion, as I said, I think they would have been up here with No Pins and Ciboire had they had a full complement. This, folks, is why it's ultra important you try to get 6 members, because you're going to see the difference it makes with Pokemotion this week, who previously have kept within a second of No Pins. Expect them to lose many seconds today because there's only 4 members. And that will just highlight the importance of why you should have and should try and field a full team. Because it's all about recovery of riders while riding. I mean, obviously, yes, you can push your stronger riders on the front. Steve Brearley, that you saw on the front for No Pins there, he's just an absolute beast when it comes to leading his team. Very good friend of mine, and I've watched him for quite a long time. But this is as we look a bit further down the field at the other riders here. Who else we got close together? Obviously, we've got West London VR, Mysterio and Viper. They're bringing up the last 3 places, but expect that battle to go close. True 2 and OTR Blue, less than 100 meters. In fact, they're neck and neck. Look at this, 11.5 kilometers remaining each. 11.4 switched almost immediately at the same time. So there's nothing, absolutely nothing between these two teams, True 2 and OTR Blue. What a fantastic race that's turning out to be. What else can we spot here? I mean, I'm very quickly trying to cause my look at the racing here. West London VR and Cheese Rolls are very close together. 100 meters between those two. Mysterio and Viper, yeah, we've got about 200 to 300 meters there, but we've got some extremely close racing here. Cheese Rollers, well, they're neck and neck at the moment, Cheese Rollers, with West London VR. So that's going to be an exciting battle as we come into the second half of the race. We're almost at the halfway point, not quite, almost at the halfway point. Yeah, and we will get a 10-kilometer split. So we'll be able to give you the highlights. Now, don't forget, in previous weeks, um, race leaders that have led at the 10-kilometer split mark have been overtaken, have lost that lead. Is that going to happen today? Very, very close racing here. No pins, poor commotion, 100 meters between them. But Cibois and No Pins are both showing 10.3. So obviously No Pins are trying to claw back the very, very slight lead that Cibois had on them. I expect that to go down to the wire, given that Cibois are now 6-member team and riding very, very strongly. Their tails are going to be up. They're going to be seeing what we're seeing here. They're going to know the times, and their tails are going to be up. They're going to think they can get one over on No Pins. And the question for us is, are they going to do it? I personally would like to see it, because then it's going to open up the competition a bit more. Not that I don't want No Pins to win, because believe me, as an ex-member of the 3R crew, they're very special to me. But just on a competition basis, it would be nice to see Poor Commotion and Cibois overhauling No Pins occasionally, just to add to the excitement. Now, further down the field, obviously, we've got the different leagues. We've got League 2 with OTR Black, OTR Blue even. In fact, who's going to take the honours between OTR Black and OTR Blue? Here we go. This is a 10-kilometer split, folks. Let's have a look. Okay, so Cibois on top at the 10-kilometer with 3-second gap over No Pins. Now that's quite significant. I think that's the biggest gap I've seen over No Pins in the whole of the week's racings we've done. At the 10-kilometer, we've normally seen a 1 second. We might have seen a 2, but this has been the biggest gap that No Pins have lost, I think, in the series so far. So we've got Poor Commotion. They're a fair way behind Poor Commotion, and I did say they would pay with seconds because they're not a 6-man team, and you're seeing that on screen now. So I'm being proved correct in that respect. OTR Black and Tumik, 8 seconds difference. But look at True 2 and OTR Blue, exactly the same time. And the same with TFC and Viper, look, further down the field, exactly the same time. So some exciting racing here. Now put these times, split times, to memory, folks, because and hopefully we'll pull them up towards the end of the race, and you'll be able to see how these times change if they do. You know, are these placings going to remain the same, or are we going to see teams overhauling each other? That will be exciting. OTR Blue, OTR Green, there's too much of a gap there, I think. But 3R True 2 and OTR Blue, who's going to come out on top with that one? And even OTR Black and Tumik, I mean, that could end up being a really nice battle as well. So, No Pins. Well, what can you say about this team? They always seem to pull out the the goods when needed. But Cibois are currently leading. Paul, yeah, I did my first return ride yesterday, Paul Nichols. And if you watch my video, which I recommend you do, you'll see how much I struggled. So we'll see. But yes, I do hope in the near future to do some riding myself. Message from Jonathan Stone, another good friend of mine. Did that this week, Dave. And Robert Smith stepped up. The true tack this week was for Graham Saunders and Rob to go hard and draft the other 4 riders up to and on the climb. Okay, so team tactics here from Graham Saunders and Rob. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because Graham's very, very savvy. We'll come to that team in a minute as we're watching Poor Commotion here. And sadly, I hate to say I told you so, folks, but Poor Commotion are paying for the fact that they're not able to produce a full complement here. And you can see from the way that they're splitting here, they're really struggling to stay together as a foursome, with Hughes dropping off the back. I think he will get back on as we watch OTR Black here. And again, with OTR Black, you're seeing Patricios also. Yeah, it was Jonathan Stone's telling me it was all about the climb as far as True 2 were concerned. And yes, I think good tactics, Jonathan. Very good tactics, thinking about that climb, because there's no doubt we saw Cibois take back the lead because of the climb from No Pins. No Pins had pulled it back, but Cibois pulled back the lead on the climb. And in fact, over the other side of the climb, they are now leading by almost 200 meters. I'm watching the graphic as we're watching the individual teams here. So Cibois have pulled back the lead. Can they maintain it? Turcotte is doing an extremely strong pull on the front here, pulling two more of his riders along. They're down to 3 riders though. Now it'll be interesting to see. No Pins are still managing to keep 4 riders at the front. So Cibois are definitely going for it. They've broken away. They've got 3 of their riders up the front. Moni is now doing a hard pull on the front. Okay, and so this is True 2. This is the team that put together a special team because of the climb. We know Jonathan Geddes, he's a good climber. We know Graham Saunders. Rob obviously came in, Rob Smith. We know Rob Smith, I mean, he's an absolute animal. And the reason they brought him in was because of that climb. Now Rob has dropped off now because he's a bigger rider, but he would have helped pull the riders to the climb. And very good tactics. Sadly, to me now are showing their inexperience. You can clearly see that Norton has left behind his teammates. This is not what you do in a team time trial, folks. If you've got so much energy to spare, you ease up slightly and allow the riders behind you to get on your wheel, because you can clearly see Norton is doing 3.9 watts, but the riders behind are having to put in higher watts than he is just to try and close the gap. We call this burning matches, and the team that are burning matches are going to pay for it towards the end of the race. OTR Blue, well obviously, you know, OTR are a very experienced team. They certainly know the score, and yes, they're down to 4 riders now out of the 6 that started, but these are the 4 strongest riders, and just look how well they are riding together. You know, they'll all be swapping. Paul Austin is an absolute beast, and he's taking his recovery, as you can see at the moment. So correct tactics there from OTR Blue. OTR Green, yeah, again down to 3 members off the front, with the riders behind now dropping back. They might get back on, but they're going to have to put in big efforts to do so, and the 3 up front don't want to be slowing down to allow them to get back. Really, they want to be keeping the pace up. This is one instance where if you get riders going off the front, it's up to the riders that are dropped to come back, and fantastic to see that Bennett and Murray actually did that. So great riding from OTR Green there. Cheese Rollers, well, what can you say? First time out, and they've still got 6 riders staying out the front here. I mean, Gallagher and Wendy Wonder Wheels are just, you know, pretty experienced riders. Well, the whole team here is Reese, but this is an all-female team, folks. So absolutely fantastic to see this. I am so impressed with this team first time out, because they're putting in a stunning performance, and they're going to finish well up the ranking. Cibois still look like they're going to hold on to the lead. Can No Pins do what they sometimes do and overhaul it right at the death? 5 kilometers to go for the leaders. Sadly, we have West London VR now down to just two riders off the front. As I say, we saw Fawn. Now Fawn was 800 meters, well, almost 900 meters behind, and Fawn has actually pulled back some of that distance. But this team are all over the road. They've got 5 riders, and they're literally all over the road. So really, they could do with a little bit of practicing, I think, to stay together as a team. You can't fault Fawn, who had a mechanical, so Fawn dropped out through no fault of his own, but he's trying to get back on. Now we do know Thacker here, he's a very, very solid and strong rider, but he's off the front, he's riding on his own, he's not even got a rider on his wheel, so that's just not very good tactics. The two that are up front should be riding together. Okay, so TFC, they're down to 3 riders. They've dropped off 2 of their riders. Again, I'm not going to call them for tactics. This is first time out that we've seen them. They've got the 3 that they need off the front. Yeah, you could say there's a case for Snyder, who's only 200 meters behind, to be up here with them. But if these 3 are significantly stronger, then yes, go for it at this point with about 6 kilometers to go. Viper, once again we're seeing Vicente off the front, leaving behind his 2 teammates Stewart and Shields, and we've seen this in previous weeks, and it's just not the way to go because the time is given on the 3rd rider. Now Thacker, bloody hell, Fawn has got back, excuse my language folks, Fawn has got back to his teammates. Oh, that's absolutely stunning. This lad had a mechanical 900 meters behind, and look at him, he's on 2nd wheel. Now come on Nunes, do your part, get on the wheel and make it a 3-man team. What a absolutely fabulous effort. And West London VR could actually finish up in the rankings, where they were looking like they were out of it. And they're certainly not going to finish last if they can finish as a threesome. Oh, what a ride from Fawn! Absolutely amazing. What can you say? Now look at the 10-kilometer split, folks. Cibois had 3-second gap over Nopins at the 10-kilometer mark, but then we had the climb. It's going to be really interesting to see how much distance Cibois and how much time in seconds Cibois can pull up over Nopins. They've got a significant lead over Poker Motion of Nopins and Cibois, but there's absolutely nothing to choose between the 2 teams, Nopins and Cibois. They're absolutely neck and neck. 2.5 from Cibois, 2.5 from Nopins. This is going to go down to the wire. I wouldn't be surprised if Nopins, if it's a credit card between them. I really wouldn't, because I do know Nopins, they're very, very experienced at sort of like leaving everything on the road in the last few meters. But Cibois, I mean, look at Roy here trying to pull them along. They won't be giving an inch here. Fantastic riding. Poker Motion would have been up there here with them, I feel, folks, had they fielded that 6-man team. So they've lost ground because, you know, the 2 riders short here. And I don't care what you say, in a team time trial, you're going to pay for that. Although Nopins now are down to the 4 riders, but we've seen this in the past, and these 4 will absolutely be going blazing guns as we get into this final 1 kilometre, which we're almost there now. 1.7 to go for both Cibois and Nopins, 1.6. So, whew, this is very, very exciting. I'm sorry if I seem to get overexcited, but I genuinely am sat here biting my nails because this is just so close. You couldn't have better racing. Look, 1.4, both of them showing at the same time. 1.3. No Pins look like they've just taken over the lead. Wow, only just. 1.2 from No Pins. Are they going to take... I can't believe this. If they overhaul Ciboire. 1 point... Come on, Ciboire. Put in an effort. 1.1. Oh, this is... you're not going to be able to split them. You're not going to be able to split these two teams. Incredible effort. And don't forget, folks, it's on the third rider. So if one rider is off the front, up the front, doesn't make any difference. It's on the third rider over the line. So you could well see one rider going off the front, but until that third rider gets to the line, that's the time when the clock will stop. Now you can see No Pins, they've dropped, it looks like they've dropped Matt Lucker. So these three riders, Vanner, well, the two Vanners, Jan Vanner and Wilkinson. I mean, Wilkinson is always going to be there. He's one of the strongest riders that No Pins have. So he's always going to be there at the end. But those three riders have now gone. Ciboire are now three riders with Roy, Moni and Turcotte. They've left behind Dufour. So they're going for it blazing guns as well. Absolutely, there's nothing in this. I do think No Pins are just going to nick it though. What a turnaround for No Pins. Absolutely unbelievable. They've got it, you know. No Pins have got it. No Pins just from Ciboire. Few seconds. Absolutely incredible. Okay, Poker Motion. They're going to take third place, we think. Although OTR Black, they're having a say here. In fact, OTR Black are going to get it. OTR Black are going to get third place. So, Poker Motion, listen to me. Get a full team out. You've paid for it today. OTR Black have overhauled you because they kept a full complement. This is why it's so important to have a full complement working together. I mean, yes, we've only got the three coming up to the finish here, but they've all done the work. They've all given everything to bring these three riders to the line. Nice to see Nick Proteus getting there at the end. Well done, OTR Black. Third place. Poker Motion, nobody really to challenge them for fourth place. So they're going to get the fourth, but I'll bet they're ruining the fact that they lost some members. Okay, who's going to come in next? It looks like OTR Blue and 3R True 2 are fighting it out. Very close battle. Can we see the side by side? 3R True 2 and OTR Blue. Nothing, absolute, and I'd say nothing, literally 5 meters between them at the moment. It's looking, yeah, 5 meters, folks. I mean, that's way for Finn. That's even closer than No Pins and Ciboire were. We'll concentrate on the other teams further down, but I want to get back to OTR Blue and True 2 because that's a really exciting race to the finish. They're coming up to the finish now. Please switch over. Come on, let's have a look at... Okay, Tumika coming in. Are they actually... Oh, they're getting the win. Sorry. Oh. So it looked like Tumika actually came in before these two teams. I missed that. I mean, how can you follow action like... Look at that. Look how that looks like the same time. Because it's on the third rider. So 3R True 2 and OTR Blue, I'll bet you they came in the same time or maybe a fraction of a second. Let's have a look. Absolutely nothing between them. Oh, that's unbelievable. Okay, who's next to come in? OTR Green. They've not really got anybody challenging them for their place here. It doesn't look like... no, there's no other team within sort of like shouting distance of them in terms of overhauling them. Cheese Rollers are a good way behind OTR Green. So OTR Green are going to take the next spot They've only got 630 meters left to do. Cheese Rollers, the ladies team, well, they've done themselves proud because they're definitely not going to finish anywhere near last. So they've done an amazing ride. But OTR Green, look at this. How many riders have we got? 5 riders? 4? 4 riders. 4 of the 6 from OTR Green finishing together. 3 of them will go up the road. They've left behind Bennett now. So yes, they're doing the correct tactic. The 3 that are strongest are going off the front in the last few meters. Now don't forget it's on the 3rd rider, so Murray, come on, get on the wheels, get on the wheels, big sprint, get on those wheels, finish with them. Well done, Murray, fantastic riding. That's what you should be doing, folks. You should be getting on the wheels and all finishing together. Well done, Clive, great riding from Team OTR Green. Okay, Cheese Rollers, the ladies team. I am just so happy to see so many ladies taking part and riding together like this. This is fantastic to see on a platform like RGT. I mean, we've got a lot more riders over on the other platform, but this is just fantastic. To see a ladies team doing so well in a team time trial competition speaks volumes for the way that, you know, there's no sexism over here on RGT. Everybody's made welcome, and we have some fantastic female racers, and this is just proof of that. Superb riding, girls. Now the question is, they're all coming in together. Are they going to finish as a full unit, which would be really something special, to be fair? I mean, the idea is that, you know, the 3 strongest go off the front, and Gallagher's gone now, but she needs to have 2 more riders going with her. But it would be nice if the whole team can stay together. I don't think that's going to happen. Wendy Wonder Wheels is closing the gap to Gallagher. And who's that behind? Lytton. Sorry, I think it's Brenda. It might be Brenda Lytton has joined as well. So these 3 riders putting in this huge effort towards the end. 300 meters less to go. You can see the line. These 3 riders coming up. The other 3 riders not far behind. But this is perfect tactics from Rees, Gallagher and Lytton. Absolutely perfect team time trial tactics. Wait until you've got the line in sight and then give absolutely everything. Leave nothing on the road. Fabulous riding from Cheese Rollers. The other new team, TFC here, well, they're fighting it out with Viper. So both Viper and TFC, but Viper, sadly, it looks like their first rider is up the road, and Stewart and Shields, the time will be on the 3rd rider. So my guess is that the time given here is not really going to be, I don't know. It's difficult to commentate on because we've got Stewart, as looks like he's already finished from, not Stewart, sorry, who's the first rider? No, Mays. I can't even make it out. Who was the first rider from Team Viper over the line? I don't know. Really poor tactics from Team Viper though. If that's what's happened, if the first rider has gone over the line so far in front of his teammates, that's very poor tactics. Okay, so West London VR, and you have to look at Fawn, first over the line. Now that lad was 900 meters after a dropout off this team. It took him almost the full race to get back on. But what a business he's done there by pulling back onto the team and allowing them to finish with 3 riders. That's got to be the ride of the day, folks. Hand it out to Stu Fawn, because that is definitely the ride of the day. Now we're watching Mysterio coming in here. They're finishing with 3 riders, so nice to see. Jacqueline Little and Derek Day, fantastic. Well done, Mysterio. Nice to see you finishing all together. So, I don't know what the graphic is showing OTR Black and Tumeek. I don't know what that's all about. I suspect there's a bit of a glitch here. But we should now have the full complement, the full finish. Let's have a look at the results, because this is going to be really, really interesting. You can see at the 10-kilometer split mark, Cibois were in front. And look at the finish. No Pins have pulled back a 3-second deficit to a 5-second lead. So at the 10-kilometer mark, No Pins were 3 seconds behind. They gained 8 seconds over Cibois. Pokemotion lost more time, as you can see. And I'm not going to highlight it too much, but you can see that they even lost their 3rd place. And that's down to lacking team members. Because had there been a full complement, I think they would have been able to give a stronger race. Okay, True 2. They lost their 6th place, sadly, knocked down to 7th by OTR Blue. So OTR Blue overhauled True 2 to take that 6th spot. OTR Green managed to hang on to their 8th place. Cheese Rollers stayed 9th, but then we got a swap around between West London VR, TFC and Viper. Now, West London VR, they finished 12th, but to be fair to them, they would have not have finished at all. They would have been out of the competition had it not been for Stu Thorne doing that amazing comeback to rejoin them and give them points in the competition. And that's going to count further in as we go towards the end of the series, because had they not scored today, you know, they would have lost points, fallen down the rankings. As it is, the fact that they've managed to score points, very, very well done. Okay, so, well, I don't know what else to say. That was so week 5, 3rd place. Okay, week 5 runner-up, Cibois, and week 5 race winner, No Pins. Fantastic racing, folks. Really looking forward to this series. Highlights next week when we go into week 6. We'll have all the action for you. Myself and Damon over at ZMS were both extremely busy. We covered the Danish Championship and I commentated on the Masters Canadian Championship yesterday. So both myself and Damon have had an extremely busy weekend. It's not finished yet. And we'll be back. We'll be back as soon as we can with more action from the Love Team Time Trials. Now, before I go, I will just mention these time trials are absolutely the highest watched videos on RGT. We had 25,000, yes, you heard that right, 25,000 views from the last series when we did this head-to-head. I genuinely believe we can beat that with today's video, because this was even more exciting than last week's. So I think we're going to see us overhaul the 25,000 views, and full credit to Damon for putting this all together. The action and the side-by-sides that he does is absolutely amazing. Really adds to the commentary that I'm doing. I hope you're getting excited along with me, and I'm going to wrap it there, folks. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.